This one taps in a little bit of her origin, but it's just to set up the rest of the story. It's not an origin story. It's more about filling in what her life is like in Man's World when she's not in the Justice League movies, or like it's part of the DC. I hate to say New 52. It's not really New 52, but that's what people call it. So, but it's part of that continuity. It's what that version of Wonder Woman has been doing, and a separate solo adventure for her. And so the big difference is that there's mention. We know there's a bigger world that includes Superman and Batman and the Justice League, and that this is an adventure for her that's separate from them. Whereas the original movie you're talking about pretty much existed in a world where those other characters weren't in it. So.
Did you have to do a lot of research, or interview anyone to know what kind of movie to get Wonder Woman?
No, I'm the boss. So and I read comics. I mean, I knew what I wanted to do if I got the chance. And luckily, the live-action movie, everyone on the planet saw it, so it was pretty much just make a Wonder Woman cartoon. And I was like, okay, cool. I already knew kind of where I wanted to go with it and what I wanted to cover. And so, we originally our pitch was a little too close in line with what they're doing with the next live action movie. So that was one bump in the road. But I think that made us focus in a different direction that actually helped the movie, I think. So.
Give anything away.
Well, I'm not, but I think the strongest reference points are probably Perez's run, Greg Rucka's run, Elements, and even his run when he came back, and a little bit of the Justice League animated series. So I think anyone who saw the Justice League animated series will recognize some of the origin aspects of Wonder Woman.
Do you think that animated movies are efficient to attract new readers and young readers especially?
Are efficient?
Are efficient to attract new readers or young readers, or do you see them just as premises to actual readers?
Animation?
Yeah.
Well, I think, let's face it, a lot of people aren't ever going to pick up a comic book. And there's a lot of people who don't like animation. They don't think if it's not, a live flesh and blood person performing it, they discount it. So even animation has an uphill battle to reach everyone. But I think we reach more people than comics, just because you have to go to a special store to read a comic. and cartoons, if you have a good streaming account, you can see everything. So I don't know. I always think part of being in animation, especially the DC animation, is we're an extension of the comics. And so if there's elements from the comics that most people wouldn't know about because they don't read comics, it's our duty to at least bring the things out of comics that are good and fresh and new, and put them in our cartoons to kind of broaden what we do with the character and expose the audience to other things. There's a lot of cool things in comics, but because of the medium, a lot of people are biased against comics. I mean, for whatever reason. So I would say we're as much telling stories about these characters as the comic book people are. There have been times when we've been consulted, and there was a long. It's public knowledge that Alan Burnett and I think Paul Dini wrote a treatment for Batman Beyond movie that was potentially going to be done in the early 2000s. And it's happened. I've consulted on an upcoming movie. I can't talk about it. So I think now it's changing a little bit. The thing is, they don't really need us to consult because a lot of them watch the cartoons. They know what we do. So I don't know. I like the autonomy that animation gives me. At least working for Warner's, I have autonomy. I don't know if I would have it anywhere else, but they allow us to make what we want to make, and they also don't. If the movie did this, we don't automatically have to do the same thing. Whereas I think, based on what I see from Marvel, if they have Spider-Man this way in the movie, then the cartoon is going to have him that way too. And to me, that's a little limited. But I don't know. I love animation. I don't know if I like. I have the temperament for live action. No, that's a lie. I know I don't. So, like, yeah.
How did the voice talent come together?
That's all Wes Gleason, really. I mean, Rosario was already cast, so that was one less person he had to. But you know, the thing that was good about this one was that it was a majority female actors, which you know normally it's the percentage is usually around I want to say 80-20, you know, and so it was refreshing to have only 2 male actors in the whole movie. It was like, oh wow, it was so much. The record was nicer. And smelled better. It was great. I don't know. No, it was really good giving, especially women characters in the comics some exposure, and women villains, because they don't really get a lot of, you know, attention. And Wonder Woman has a great rogues gallery, so I thought it was there were a lot of good parts that we often don't get to cast that way.
For these animated movies, what is the biggest challenge you had to overcome in any one of them?
I mean, I've done so many of these movies in continuity that I can't say they get easier, but the challenges become less because it's, okay, I know what to do here. Or with this one, it was just, because it was Wonder Woman, you know, we had the 09 movie to live up to. We were doing a slightly different thing. It wasn't an origin story, so we weren't that much pressured to. But I don't know. I'm trying to remember because, you know, of course, this has been finished for a year. So the greatest challenge, I guess, was in this particular one was that Phil Barassa wasn't the designer. So we had a new designer that necessitated a different way of treating the characters. And I think we went in thinking of it as more like a Disney movie with color palette a little brighter, a little more uplifting, kind of like Wonder Woman is. I didn't want to be dark and dreary. I wanted more color in it. And so it wasn't necessarily a hard challenge. It was a welcome challenge to make it look different than some of our other movies that tend to lean dark visually.
I mean, obviously Rosario's she's had an amazing career as a live-action actress. She has a very distinctive voice. I guess she brings something really new to the role of Wonder Woman, vocally speaking.
Well, she's a comic book fan, so she knows the character inside and out. She brings energy, and she is, I was saying this on somewhere else, but that the actors we cast to be, especially the iconic heroes like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the actor themselves often, when we cast them, we don't necessarily know this, but they often have some of the same qualities that the character they're playing has. So generally, like, I don't think there's been a jerk who's played Superman yet. They've all been nice guys.
Yeah.
And there's definitely, like, Wonder Woman and these characters bring out the best in people. Like Susan Eisenberg was our Wonder Woman for Justice League, and she is the best ambassador for that character. And I believe Sharon, who was the Super Friends? Does anyone know? I'm going to say Sharon Farrah, but I'm probably missing her name. But anyway, the actress who played Wonder Woman in the Super Friends cartoon, she is a great ambassador. So, and Rosario is like that too. She believes in the character. She kind of is Wonder Woman. She's very positive, upbeat. She's very much a humanitarian. So, you often cast people who are have similar qualities to the character.
Cool. Do you have any plans for a movie that will be exclusively to the DC Universe platform?
They haven't told me anything yet. I'm working on developing something, but it's not tied to that. So.
Great, thanks.